Welcome back. Take a breath. Because what you're about to hear sounds impossible. But impossible stories are the ones that change lives. Today, we're talking about a modern U.S. coin that most people spend without a second thought. A coin people drop into vending machines. A coin people lose under car seats. A coin people ignore. The 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter. A copper-nickel-clad quarter struck at the Philadelphia Mint. No gold. No silver. No obvious rarity. And yet, this coin carries one of the most shocking modern stories in U.S. coin history. At first glance, it looks normal. It feels normal. It sounds normal when it hits the table. Dirty. Worn. Heavily circulated. Exactly the kind of coin no one protects. But history doesn't care about appearances. History cares about moments. And this coin was born from a moment that can never be repeated. Dr. Sally Ride was not just another name on a coin. She was the first American woman in space. A symbol of courage. A symbol of science. A symbol of breaking limits. When her image was placed on a circulating U.S. quarter, something changed. Collectors noticed. Historians noticed. And quietly, so did investors. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these quarters, yes. But volume has never guaranteed sameness. Modern minting still produces variations. Still produces anomalies. Still produces coins that slip through unnoticed. Some 2022 quarters were struck stronger. Some weaker. Some with surface textures that don't match the rest. Some with alignment that feels just a little off. And most importantly, some entered circulation immediately, getting worn before anyone realized what they were holding. Here's where the story turns. In the modern coin world, rarity isn't always about age. It's about context. It's about significance. It's about demand colliding with scarcity. The Dr. Sally Ride quarter sits at the center of all three. This coin represents a cultural milestone that will never happen again. There will never be another first American woman in space. That moment is locked in history. And coins tied to moments like that behave differently over time. Collectors don't just collect metal. They collect stories. And the story behind this quarter is powerful. What shocks people the most is this. Even dirty, worn, heavily circulated 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarters have drawn serious attention. Not because they're pretty, but because they survived circulation while carrying hidden traits that only trained eyes notice. Coins like this don't announce their value. They whisper it. A quarter like this can sit unnoticed for years. Then one day, the right collector sees it. The right buyer understands it. And suddenly, the price no longer makes sense to ordinary people. That's how modern legends begin. This is why people are warned again and again. Do not rush to spend modern coins just because they look common. Do not assume new means worthless. And never clean a coin thinking you're helping it. Cleaning destroys history. And history is where the value lives. The idea that a modern quarter could someday reach unimaginable value sounds crazy. Until you remember this. Every legendary coin in history once looked ordinary. Every fortune started as pocket change. The 2022 Dr. Sally Ride quarter is still early in its story. That's what makes it dangerous. That's what makes it exciting. And that's what makes it powerful. People who recognize importance early are the ones history rewards later. So if you find this quarter, pause. Look at it closely. Respect it. Because value doesn't always come from age. Sometimes it comes from meaning. And sometimes, meaning turns metal into destiny. This isn't just a quarter. It's a reminder that the smallest things can carry the biggest future. And this was coin number 1. Welcome back. And stop whatever you're doing for a moment. Because what looks like ordinary pocket change might be one of the most misunderstood coins in modern U.S. history. Today, we're talking about the 2006 North Dakota State Quarter. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Made of copper-nickel-clad metal. Used by millions of people. And ignored by almost everyone. This coin doesn't scream rarity. It doesn't shine like silver. It doesn't feel heavy with value. It looks worn. Dirty. Heavily circulated. Exactly the kind of coin people spend without thinking. And that's why its story is dangerous. The North Dakota State Quarter was released during the peak of the U.S. State Quarters program. A time when America was producing coins at massive speed. Machines were running non-stop. Millions of coins were struck fast, not gently. Precision existed, but perfection did not. This is where history quietly bends. The North Dakota design shows rugged land, farming roots, and strength. Simple. Honest. Uncomplicated. But coins born in high-speed eras often carry secrets. Tiny differences. Subtle surface textures. Striking pressure that varies just enough to matter. Details that disappear too early or appear too strong. Most people never notice. Collectors do. Over time, certain 2006 North Dakota quarters began standing out. Not because they were clean, but because they were different. Heavily circulated coins with strange characteristics. Coins that aged in ways others didn't. Coins that survived long enough to raise questions. And here's the truth most people don't understand. Value doesn't come only from age. It comes from survival plus significance. The State Quarters era marked a turning point in American coin collecting. It pulled everyday people into the hobby. It created emotional attachment. And it produced future demand that no one could measure at the time. Coins tied to that moment carry long-term weight. The North Dakota Quarter represents something quiet but powerful. America's working backbone. Agriculture. Land. Persistence. Collectors don't just collect coins. They collect identity. And this is why even worn, dirty, heavily circulated North Dakota quarters have drawn attention in private collector circles. Not public hype. Quiet interest. Serious eyes. Because once demand forms around a coin, condition becomes only one piece of the puzzle. History has proven this again and again. The coins people laughed at first are often the ones people chase later. Think about it. Every legendary coin once sat in someone's pocket, looking completely normal. The danger is not spending a coin that's already valuable. The danger is spending one that hasn't revealed its future yet. That's why experienced collectors say this. Never rush. Never clean. Never assume. Cleaning erases evidence. And evidence is where value lives. The 2006 North Dakota State Quarter is still early in its story. That's what gives it power. That's what gives it potential. That's what makes it controversial. Some coins peak fast. Others wait. And the ones that wait often surprise the world. So if you find a North Dakota quarter, especially one that feels different, looks unusual, or simply survived heavy circulation, pause before you spend it. Because fortune doesn't always arrive with noise. Sometimes it arrives quietly, already sitting in your hand. This is not just a quarter. It's a reminder. History hides value inside ordinary things. And the people who look twice are the ones who benefit first. This was not hype. This was coin number one. Welcome back. Pause for a second. Because sometimes the most powerful stories don't shout. They wait. Today, we're talking about a modern U.S. coin almost everyone ignores. A coin people spend without looking. A coin that feels ordinary, sounds ordinary, and looks ordinary. The 2022 Wilma Mankiller quarter. Struck at the Denver Mint. Copper-nickel clad. Born into circulation. Dropped into pockets. scratched, worn, forgotten. And that's exactly how history likes to hide value. Wilma Mankiller was not just a name placed on metal. She was a force, a leader, the first woman to serve as principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, a symbol of resilience, voice, and change. When her image was placed on a circulating U.S. quarter, it wasn't just a design choice. It was a statement. And coins tied to statements behave differently over time. At first glance, the reverse design looks calm, strong, grounded, her face steady, her presence undeniable. But the story behind this coin goes deeper than design. The year 2022 was a time of massive production pressure at U.S. mints. Coins were struck fast. Machines worked hard. Details mattered, but speed mattered more. And whenever speed enters history, variation follows. Some Wilma Mankiller quarters came out sharp. Some soft. Some carried subtle surface differences. Some aged in ways that others didn't. Most people never noticed. They spent them. They lost them. They ignored them. Collectors didn't. In the modern coin world, value doesn't always come from age. It comes from meaning meeting scarcity. It comes from cultural weight colliding with time. This coin represents more than currency. It represents representation. And representation creates demand that grows quietly. Here's what shocks people. Even dirty, worn, heavily circulated Wilma Mankiller quarters have drawn serious interest. Not because they're pretty, but because they survived circulation while carrying history. Coins like this don't announce themselves. They wait for the right eyes. A coin can be common today and controversial tomorrow, ignored now and hunted later. That's how collecting works. Every legendary coin in history once looked like nothing special. Every fortune began as something small. Every story started before anyone was paying attention. The Wilma Mankiller quarter is still early in its journey. That's what gives it power. That's what makes it unpredictable. That's what makes it dangerous to underestimate. People make one mistake again and again. They assume modern means worthless. They assume worn means useless. They assume value must be obvious. History disagrees. Cleaning a coin erases its story. Spending a coin erases its future. And rushing erases opportunity. Coins tied to cultural milestones don't behave like normal coins. They don't follow logic. They follow emotion. And emotion drives markets harder than metal ever could. So if you find a 2022 D Wilma Mankiller quarter, pause. Look twice. Respect it. Because value doesn't always shine. Sometimes it waits. This isn't just a quarter. It's a reminder that history is still being written. And sometimes, you're holding the first chapter without realizing it. This wasn't hype. This wasn't noise. This was coin number one.